Roll call.
Mayor Laura,
Here.
Vice Mayor Parsons,
Present.
Commissioner Landry,
Here.
Commissioner Vasquez,
Here.
Commissioner Warren.
Here.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Vocation. Do we have anyone who volunteers? No?
Ron, would you again? Okay.
Thank you.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for letting us meet here tonight to conduct the city's business, and we ask that you'll give this board the wisdom to lead this city and make decisions that are good for this city. And we ask that you'll be with all the citizens of our community and be with the people in the audience tonight and all of us as we leave tonight. Keep us safe, and we just ask that you'll bless this community, and we ask these things in your name. Amen.
Thank you.
Took your job, right? You wanna do it?
If I could just take a quick minute.
Please.
Thanks for the prayer. I'm sorry
You're all right.
that I'm running a little behind. But I wanted to say thank you to the city commission. This is Christmas, so I wanted to bring each of you commissioners a gift. And what it is that when I was here several months ago to present the idea of liberal and the meaning of it, and from generosity to prosperity, and I wanted to thank you for adopting that into the slogan, the new slogan for liberal, and also the scripture that a liberal man will be enriched and prosper, and one who waters will himself be watered, which perfectly describes Seymour Rogers as he dug a well 88 feet deep. So I want to present to you in appreciation a little plaque that has this on it, and you can maybe put it in your office or wherever you'd like. But since it's Christmas, I thought I should come bearing gifts today, even though I missed the prayer. Thank you, Ronnie. I want to give this here to each one of you. So,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. And Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas. Thank you. And to our city manager, I'm going to give you one as well.
Thank you, I love that.
And then, let's see. You know, I want to give you one. So. I love it. It's great. And it has the definition of liberal being a generous disposition of mind, resulting in large giving. And so this explanation of Seymour Rogers with the Bible verse and the city slogan, those three together, hopefully and prayerfully will have a great effect on our community, upon our citizens, and upon our disposition. Good disposition to be liberal, and it's not political. It's from the Bible. That means, it's baraka, it means blessing, giving, generosity, and kindness, all those words. And one last thing I want to give to our city manager. I found a map that has, a lot of times, a big map of the United States, they leave out liberal. They'll put Dodge City on there. Notice, this one has liberal and leaves Garden and Dodge City off of it. Well, Mr. Mayor, you can have one too.
Thank you.
And, I really was amazed that you looked at the liberals on there. So we're on the map. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Moving on to item number 1, the awards, proclamations, and presentations, the Employee Service Awards. I think that was a perfect entry into the giving, because these will be the award for people who have given years of their life to the service of Liberal. 10, 15, 20, and 25 years. Okay. Carla Hanold, 10 years of service. Aaron Lumen, 10 years of service. Jaime Sanchez Leon, 10 years of service. Valerie Timmer, 10 years of service. Jesus Aguilar, 15 years of service. Argeldia Aragon, 15 years of service. Esperanza Martinez, 15 years of service. Erica Villa, 15 years of service. Christopher Head, 20 years of service. Alicia Hidalgo, 20 years of service.
Have a picture of the sheriff.
Guillermo Corona, 25 years of service. And Brian Fornwalt, 25 years of service. The following employees were not able to attend tonight: Adrian Ward, 10 years of service; Brant Hessel, 15 years of service; and Paul Holman, 15 years of service. Please, round of applause for everybody. Thank you very much. At this point, I think last year, there was some family or people who took pictures. Are we wanting to do that again today, or are we going to go straight into the rest of the
You
meeting?
good? Let's do it.
Let's do it?
Yeah.
You want a picture? Like a group picture?
Yeah,
Okay. So,
let's do that.
okay, everybody that received a service award, if you could just come up here and Keely says we'll take a group picture over here.
You need to do that. You need to do that. Let them take pictures.
Do you want us with our awards or not?
I think it's
Yeah, I was like,
Did you see T-shirt? Says welcome to dispatch.
I like feel obligated to tell them what to do because I'm so used to it. I'm just like, keep your comments to yourself.
So, you guys are welcome to stay if you want to, but if you want to leave now, that's okay. Jennifer has your box for your service award as you exit, if you want to grab that. Okay?
Perfect spot. So I have this, where to hang stuff and maybe
Because I'm typically not hot.
Perfect.
I'm getting better at engineering myself, so.
Yeah.
Okay. It's warm in here.
For the first time ever.
Yeah. And you're wearing a sweater.
Just turned it down.
And a long sleeve shirt on underneath it too, so
I'm always cold and I think it's warm, so.
that's me. I'll go home and I'm like, feel like a little lady, I have like a blanket on while I'm on the couch watching TV.
Yeah.
In my sweater.
It's too cozy right now.
Trust me, it just gets worse.
Well, as you get older.
Yeah.
Thanks for the warning, I appreciate that. That must be why all senior citizens don't have to fold those.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it now.
Oh, yeah?
After the day.
You're not. Early in the morning.
We'll move on to item number 2, approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda as printed.
I second.
A motion by Commissioner Vasquez and a second by Commissioner Landry. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? 5-0, motion passes. Moving on to item number 3, the minutes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the November 26, 2024 regular meeting minutes and the minutes of the November 26, 2024 special meeting minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Warren and a second by Commissioner Vasquez. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? 5-0. Motion passes. Moving on to item number 4, items from citizens. Are there any items from citizens tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on to items number 5, items from groups. Are there any items from groups? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 6, the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Vasquez and a second by Commissioner Landry. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? 5-0, motion passes. Moving on to item number 7, ordinance number 4624, rezoning McCray Park properties from R1 to R3.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, this ordinance for rezone affects 4 properties right across the street over here, 3 of which are owned by the City of Liberal, 1 of which is owned by USD 480. This rezone was started in an effort to, there's interest in someone obtaining some of the properties to build some apartments. And the property would need to be rezoned to R3 residential. It doesn't affect taxes. It does, if the deal falls through on the apartments, it doesn't affect the city's use of them. It probably makes it actually better for us in the future. This went before the Planning and Zoning Commission on November 26th at a special meeting. It was approved unanimously and forwarded to you for your consideration.
Keith, I'm impressed that you actually pointed in the right direction. It's easy to turn around in this building. I had to think about it when you pointed that way. Hey, he's right. Oh, go ahead.
I'll make a motion, we approve ordinance number 4624 to rezone McCray Park properties from R1 to R3.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Vasquez and a second by Commissioner Warren. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? 5-0, motion passes. Moving on to item number 8, ordinance number 4625, rezoning 503 Luck Road from AL Ag to I2 Industrial.
This ordinance, on the 26th, you guys approved the lease of Edgar Flores Construction for this piece of property out on Luck Road behind Southern Pioneer Electric and the USD 480 building, which used to be Weatherford. Currently, the property is zoned agricultural. It is within the city limits, right on the edge. For the use Mr. Flores wants to use it for, he put in to have it rezoned to I2 heavy industrial. It is surrounded, everything to the northeast is industrial park. There is a chunk immediately adjoining it on the south side, which is I1 industrial, so this type of zoning is what the area is. It's the right use for the area. So this also went before the Planning and Zoning Board on November 26th at the special meeting, and they voted unanimously to forward this approval onto you to rezone this property from agricultural to I2 heavy industrial.
I make a motion to approve the rezoning of 503 Luck Road to an I2 heavy industrial zone.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Landry and a second by Vice Mayor Parsons. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? 5-0, motion passes. Moving on to item number 9, ordinance number 4626, special use permit for a concrete plant at the 503 Luck Road.
So, this is the same property you just rezoned to heavy industrial, which would allow Mr. Flores to open his construction business there. He currently is operating a concrete plant out at the state line at the old Jimmy Rogers. He wants to move it in and on this lot place his construction business and a concrete plant. A concrete plant is only allowed by special use. It's only allowed in I-2 or I-2A by special use, which you just rezoned it I-2, so it does meet zoning now with your approval. The Planning and Zoning Board took this on November 26th, and they forwarded it with the conditions that the filtration system be functional the entire time the plant is in operation, and with the condition that we receive an approval letter from the FAA for height and use before the concrete plant is installed. We did receive, it's in your packet, we received one letter of concern from USD 480 that has adjoining property that they were concerned about the amount of dust that would affect all their buses parked out there. I believe the filtration requirement satisfies what USD 480 was concerned about.
So is the filtration requirement that the Planning and Zoning Board put in here, is it in response to USD 480's concerns?
Yes.
And does Mr. Flores have you talked to him about that?
Yes, he's here tonight,
Oh,
and he
yes.
was at the meeting
Oh, there you
when they
are. Okay.
discussed it, and he said they've applied for, they applied for contract work through the state of Kansas and KDOT, and like they're required to have the filtration system to
Okay.
get certified for certain projects.
I'm gonna throw a little wrench in this. So the ordinance, 4625 that was just passed, that doesn't actually become effective until it's published. So I think you can go ahead and pass what's in front of you now, but it can't take effect until it's published, but I don't think it can actually be published until after the ordinance previous to it is published. That makes sense? It's very wordy, very poorly put to you, but, I think if you're gonna pass a motion to approve the ordinance in front of you, which is the 4626, it's gonna have to be not published on the 12th, as it's in the ordinance, it's gonna be published on a subsequent date. I don't know what date that would be, Alicia, but, I think you can approve it today, subject to the publishing of the prior ordinance, and then once that other ordinance is published, then this one could then be published thereafter, and then it could take effect, if that makes sense.
So do we also have, in addition to those, do we have to also add in the filtration?
The filtration's in the special use permit ordinance, that's in front of you, right, Keith?
Yes, it
That-
is
That's
typed.
referenced in there.
Okay.
So the only thing I would say is that, you can make a motion to approve ordinance number 4626 if you're so inclined, which would then be published on the 15th of December, because it can only be in effect and passed once the other one is published on the 12th.
Okay, so I'll make a motion, we approve ordinance number 4626, special use permit for concrete plant 503 Luck Road, subject to the two publishing dates, the 12th for the ordinance.
The one publishing date,
Okay,
yep.
yeah,
This one will be published on the 15th.
on the 15th.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Subject to the publishing of this ordinance on December 15th.
Second.
A motion by Vice Mayor Parsons and a second by Commissioner Warren. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? 5-0. Motion passes. Thank you. Well,
One more.
item number 10, 503 Luck Road Construction
Keith
Appeal for
Bridenstine
Sewer.
show.
I was just gonna say.
So this is in reference to the same property. This was put on here as a appeal to my, as the building official, my decision. Mr. Flores thinks the property where he's gonna put the building is too far from a sewer main. So he was asking to put in a septic system for the building. City code, however, gives in section 15-203, says privies and septic tanks, except as hereinafter provided, it shall be a Class B violation to construct, maintain any privy vault, septic tank, cesspool, or other facility intended for the use or disposal of wastewater within the city. It gives no exception, which gives me no, like, I have to say no to a septic system for any reason. On a lot of stuff, I can bring appeals to the Planning and Zoning Board or bring appeals to you. I thought as a construction-related thing, I could bring an appeal to you. I spoke with Lynn today, and the city attorney is under the opinion that you guys, there's no exception written into the code, so you guys cannot vote to simply waive a rule in the city code without us making an ordinance and changing the code. The reason I didn't take it off was because the reason I would rather poll you to see if it is waste of time to bring something in front of you, that to put an exception in where in certain instances a person could be allowed to put a septic tank within the city limits of Liberal. Some general ideas were it's illegal to have a septic tank within the city limits of Liberal unless you meet all of the following criteria and things like, just rough numbers. The lot has to be at least 3 acres in size. The lot has to be 1,000 feet or more from a sewer main. The lot has to be owned something other than residential. The septic system would be required to be a minimum of 500 feet from any city water well. It would have to follow all the septic rules, and no portion of the septic system could go within a certain distance to an easement. Something like that, those could change, but if all 5 of you say, no, we don't like the idea of septic tanks in town, then there's no use in bringing an ordinance in front of you.
And what I told Keith was, if the 5 of you or the majority of the 5 of you are inclined to make an exception, I want it to be clear that it's not just discretionary on Keith or on the council. It's gonna be, in these situations, we're saying it's allowed, and if it fits that situation, then it's allowed,
Yeah.
period. Now, again, that, like Keith said, if you all wanna go that route and allow them in the city limits to start with. Right now, as Keith said, our ordinance, our law for the city of Liberal is you can't have them. It doesn't matter what the basis is, you cannot have a septic system in town.
How much drop is there from their location to the main?
I honestly have no idea. I can tell you just by the figuring it, where he wants to put his building to the city main, it's probably gonna be more than 1,300 feet. And it's the complication of having to go through the area he has to go through is a little complicated, and it may entail a lift station. I honestly can't tell you.
Gonna be a pretty big flush required to get 1,300 feet to the sewer main. Yeah,
That was one of our concerns.
yeah.
You know, if he's got 20, 25 people, they're drivers, and they're coming in and going out.
Yeah.
It's your office staff, and you use the facility, how long is it gonna take to get that 1,000+ foot
Yeah.
to the main?
I have a feeling there's not gonna be enough drop either, so you're gonna have a small incline to actually get there.
I think you had a question.
Yeah, that's before
I think you had something.
see.
I can't. Please, step forward.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
As far as the drop goes, that property sits at an incline of about a 1.5%. I already did the surveying myself. I'm a contractor by trade. So there is a 1.5 drop. There's about 3 feet drop from where the building's gonna sit. And to be accurate on the footage, it's from the main line to where the building's gonna be, it's 1,800 feet. Just, it's a lot of, drop, we would be really shallow by the time we came back up to the actual main. That's the only reason that we were appealing this. Taking into consideration also that the zoning was in agricultural, we are in city limits, that's being changed. But we wanted everybody to take that into consideration as well, also. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Keith, I had questions for you. I was just thinking about, so I'm assuming, of course, you're probably more familiar with Oklahoma too, as far as what our septics, which I don't know why I am, but I am too, but, you, would inspect all the septic system.
Yeah,
And
I,
does the state involve, I know in Oklahoma, they're always involved in the septic system, right?
no, the state looks at water wells, but they don't septic systems, and like, so we handle houses that are built out,
3 miles?
yeah.
Yeah.
So if they apply to build a house outside the city limits, we handle the construction of the house. The county is still in agreement to handle the inspection of the septic system and the water well. And I have spoken with Albert with the county and said, hey, if we have to get caught up, if this comes in and we have to get caught up on how to inspect and correctly do the septic systems, and the county's offered
That's
their
what I was wondering.
assistance.
It'd be your responsibility to inspect it though, but
Yeah,
that's what I was wondering, as far as training for that, you really haven't had to do those, right?
we have not.
Yeah.
But there is an entire
sure you're-
international code book for
Yeah.
private sewage disposal, which we would have to probably put in.
Yeah, I didn't know, like I said, I know in Oklahoma, they come in, they do holes and you fill them up with water, I guess, and they see how long it takes to, have you had to do one of those, have you seen one of those in Oklahoma?
No.
Okay. I know they do that in Oklahoma, when people actually get a permit to do one. But we didn't do, pretty sure that didn't happen. I built one in I actually probably built a couple that had septic systems, and I didn't remember the state of Kansas being involved in it. So in the state of Kansas, they don't do that, so it's totally, you're gonna be the inspector on
Yes. I
that. You've
believe-
already really covered the rules or the concerns about how far from water, which they would be required anywhere, I guess.
Well, and from what I know of water wells and septic on a private lot, like the requirement is actually, like, at my house out in the country, the requirement is actually only like 100 or 200 feet.
Yeah, I think it's 100 feet, yeah.
But just to protect the city, I figured I'd throw in that extra 500 feet from a city water well, just to, a little extra protection for the public. And
Because you're thinking of creating this ordinance for commercial properties only, not for residential?
well, my idea, I mean, I think the 3-acre limitation would automatically pretty much rule out anything residential, but I don't know that we need residential septic tanks within the city limits.
I think you're right.
As the building official, I'm not 100% opposed to septic tanks in town with the current, with certain stipulations,
Yeah.
but I think we ought to nail down 5 or 6 things that it has to meet all of these things to qualify.
I'm comfortable with the limitations you put on it.
Okay. How do the rest of you feel?
Yeah, I'm good with those restrictions on it.
I don't know enough about it to the point where with limitations on it, as long as we don't end up with a line going out the door every time we turn around and somebody says, well, I met this, now I'm at this, now I want this,
I think the size of the lot's gonna be the big thing that's
Yeah.
gonna make that not be something we deal with. I doubt, Keith, if you put something in this like he's talking about, we'll deal
Yeah.
with more than one of these a year,
I,
if even that.
I don't know even
Yeah.
that. But with the stipulations I put in, most of the places that it would be applicable would be on the very edge of town and
Yeah.
bigger undeveloped lots and stuff.
Right.
So on that part too, I don't remember if one of your stipulations was they have to be zoned industrial.
Well,
I feel
I
that would
said,
kind of,
I said non-residential zoning, so something commercial could fit, something industrial could fit. If we want to stick the stipulation that it has to be industrial zoning only, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'd be more comfortable with just an industrial site. And that has to meet all the other parts. I think something commercial, one way or the other, should have enough, or we should be working in making sure that our lines are addressing whatever commercial
Right.
is getting put on there.
I would agree with that, yeah.
Now, our industrial sites, those are very, maybe 5 employees on a site, but they use up a lot of space, so I could see why those would qualify, but I don't see anything commercial needing this being available to them.
And you're gonna have to draft us an ordinance and bring back before we do anything, right?
Keith and I'll have to get together.
Okay.
The idea, we talked about these items he addressed to all of you today as far as qualifications for being
And-
an exemption, but I think we also have to probably look at some kind of a permitting process, so before they dig a hole, they gotta check with Keith, before they cover the septic system, he's gotta go out there and look at it, make sure it meets whatever requirements that are complying with KDHE regs, and, if we can get the county to help us out on the one or two that we have in our lifetime, that would be helpful, so.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to size the tank for the amount of fixtures in the building and stuff anyway, right?
Yeah.
Which is gonna be very small, I'm assuming, probably bathroom, maybe a break room or something.
Yeah, something.
So
to
you're
that
not gonna
effect.
have a lot of, it's not gonna be like living quarters in there, and all their washout will be to a pit, I'm guessing, right?
Excuse me?
All your washout on trucks will be to a pit.
Yes,
So, yeah, so,
yes.
yeah.
And we're also open to future development, if a main sewer line comes across there, we'll tap in,
Yeah,
it's just.
and
They need
Keith and I
some
discussed that too, in the event that a main sewer line is within so many feet in the future, then the owner shall connect to the sewer. We talked about that and abandon the septic tank.
With removal.
Right, so we talked about that as well. So there's some more things that, again, we were just kind of today discussing it and coming with some just generic ideas, but we'll
That
have
would
to
be
put
in the-
something together for you
That would be
guys
in the
to-
ordinance that.
Yeah, we'll have to put an ordinance
Yeah.
together that
It-
actually has an exemption.
It would
there.
modify the section of the code book in
Yeah.
sewers and wastewater.
So the ordinance will modify the code book,
Yes.
or will we have to?
No, the ordinance
Okay.
would modify the code book.
And, I mean, you guys really addressed that final question that I had was, as we develop further, if anything happens, can we make them connect? What do we currently do in situations where we annex in, let's say, an area that had septic tanks? Have we done that in the past?
So there are still a couple septic tanks in town. From stuff that predates the code or, if somebody annexes in, it says, basically it kind of says they're grandfathered in until,
Yeah.
this section says they're illegal the second they get annexed in, but other place in the code, it says that they have to tap in once they go to replace stuff.
Yeah, they're grandfathered in.
Yeah.
That's just the way it works, so. And then if it gets to the point of repairing because of the use of the septic, then that's when they have to attach to the city septic, or city sewer, sorry.
Okay, fair enough. I'm in
Okay.
favor, and I think
Okay,
we have a consensus to move forward on that.
all right. Thank you very much.
Okay, moving on to item number 11, resolution number 2426, adopting Exhibit C, the 2025 fee schedule.
Resolution 2426 adopts Exhibit C, the 2025 fee schedule for the city of Liberal. Enclosed in your packet is a red line copy and a plain copy, and each department had say in their changes.
And thank you for the red line. It made it a lot easier to go
I know
through.
it was a lot,
Appreciate
but-
that, yeah. Thank you for that.
Everything on here, for the most part, matches what we've done, what we've added. Only thing I do ask for next year's would be we have a work session on this before bringing it to commission. at this point, if there was one item we didn't like, we really couldn't change it now.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I ask for, is we present it so we can actually discuss it.
I think we did, it was just so long ago. Didn't we have a work session?
Well, we met about it last year, and then we didn't actually
Go
amend
into
the
it.
agreement,
Yeah, that was-
and
We
so
didn't go into
that
detail.
was the issue.
And this is something we're supposed to do yearly anyway, so, yeah. We did do the work session for the fees for last year.
Okay.
And then we didn't actually
We
approve
just
them.
kicked it down the road, yeah.
And so, yeah,
We looked more at just the building rentals, I think, but that was about it.
right. Yeah, that was the only thing we really talked about changing. Then there was one question, what item was that? The very last, I think section 18, I think. Yeah, Article 17, boards and commissions, and then it talks about the tree, shrub, and planting.
That has been in there since before my time. It was in there like that since it was codified in 2000. If that's something we want to change, we can with we're still in the legal review of the code book. So if we want to change that, we can. I'm not sure why it was put
Set up
together
that
that
way.
way.
Be okay with cleaning it up in the future, before that finishes up. Just felt a little weird reading that, and the two don't actually match up. Okay, that's all I got.
Well, I'll make a motion, we adopt Resolution 2426, adopting Exhibit C, the 2025 fee schedule.
I second.
A motion by Vice Mayor Parsons and a second by Commissioner Landry. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? All opposed? 5-0. Motion passes. Thank you guys for all the work. Moving on to item number 12, purchase of report writing and video review software. Chief?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, appreciate the opportunity to be here and speak to you tonight. I don't know if you're familiar enough with this topic, but I'm just going to give you a quick overview, and then I will stand for questions. We are coming before the commission asking for permission to purchase a software licensing program that will allow us to review 100% of our body-worn cameras. The practical matter of reviewing body-worn cameras by the police department is we probably only review about 1%. This is going to give us insight into everything that goes on in each one. This software automatically will transcribe the entirety of the body-worn camera video, so you'll have the audio portion of it coupled with the video itself. The software is supposed to be able to distinguish between the officer and other parties. That's something that's very exciting for us as well. What we're hoping for with the software is that it will give us insight into how our officers are interacting with the community. We firmly believe that they're doing a very professional job, but I know that there are times when perhaps we don't meet expectations of the community, and this software will help us identify areas of weakness, areas where maybe we need to institute some additional training, those type of things. But additionally, the benefit to the officers is with this transcription, they will also be able to get a jump start on their reports. A large part of an officer's day is spent with documentation, writing reports, and generating stuff. The software itself, we are expecting is going to help us with that. A couple of the highlights, that it will transcribe 100% of the body-worn cameras. It separates the language of the officers from the community members. It will automatically redact personally identifiable information. That may sound odd to you, but we will end up with a database of these transcriptions, and we don't want our employees or anyone else that would subpoena it to be able to search through that for people's names. One of the big concerns, frankly, that I had when law enforcement went to the body-worn cameras was you're going into many people's homes at arguably one of the lowest times in their life, and I don't think a lot of that should be subject to public review. So this will remove that personally identifiable information so that you don't have a database to search for those names. Again, it will automatically generate draft narratives and summaries to reduce their administrative time in the offices. And supposedly, this is very impressive to us, and we did do a demonstration with them. We did a demonstration with another company. But it says it will detect with 99% accuracy the use of force, pursuits, searches, Terry stops, traffic stop reasons, arrests, persons in crisis, offering services, domestic violence, upset persons, non-compliant persons, and officer introductions and explanations of what they're there for and what they're doing. And what that really means is these are some of the expectations we have for the officers, that they're following the law, they're following policies, they're following expectations, and this is going to help us identify, again, if we have areas of weakness that we need to improve upon, if we have areas where officers are doing an exemplary job, it's going to tell us. If there was de-escalation, de-escalation is very important in our profession today. If there's de-escalation, it will tell us if the officers attempted de-escalation. And this is just another step. This is probably the next step in the evolution of police work to go past body-worn cameras. So, we are asking that the commission give consideration to this, approve it for the police department. And I believe I have a suggested motion that I'd be happy to read to you if someone doesn't have it available to them. And I will stand for questions.
I have two questions.
Yes,
First
sir.
one is Spanish-speaking individuals, does that translate over or does it not?
They have told us that it does distinguish between the languages. When I was sitting in there, I'm not a Spanish speaker, so I didn't ask them for a demonstration on it. But the English speaking demonstration, as the video was playing, we had a separate screen where it was doing the transcription directly in line with it and keeping up with it. It added the proper punctuation. Sometimes in an automated system, you will see a run-on sentence, you'll see a paragraph about this long, and there's not a period or a distinction between it, and it worked perfectly, and it's our understanding it is supposed to work with Spanish as well.
Okay. My other question is I know this is for a 12-month period of time with the ability to keep it going by the terms of the agreement right here. I just wanted to make sure you're aware that if it automatically will renew for another 24 months unless you give a 90-day prior notice. So, but before September of next year, if you guys decide you don't want to use this, make sure you give them notice so you'll be locked in for another 24 months.
Yes, we're aware of that. We're expecting to know by the middle of the summer whether this is working or whether we want to proceed with it. I don't think it's going to take us that long to figure it out. There might be some growing pains. I think it's probably going to take us, I'm going to say, probably 60 days, maybe even 75 days from today if it were to be approved before we could even begin to implement it. So we'll have ample time, I believe, to review it and make a determination before we get to that 90-day window.
That's all. Those are the only questions I have.
Thank you. Other questions?
Do we know what the renewal cost will be?
Currently, it's the same. They've given us no projected cost increase. The cost is $50 or $40 per camera. We have 50 cameras total. That will be cameras for the police department, cameras for the court officers, and cameras for our animal control officers. This will be new for the animal control officers and the court officers, but it will cover each camera that we have. So it's $40 per month times those 50 cameras, which is $2,000 a month, times the 12 months is $24,000 a year. And at this time, they've given us no indication that there's a cost increase.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'll make a motion that we contract with Trulio for AI services for the Liberal Police Department, utilizing seizure funds from an account designated by the interim city manager in an amount not to exceed $24,000.
My second.
A motion by Commissioner Vasquez and a second by Commissioner Landry. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? 5-0. Motion passes. Thank you. Item number 13, Employee Policy Manual.
So Mayor and Commissioners, Angelica's unfortunately out sick today, so I will be presenting the employee manual. In your packets, you have the proposed policy manual, which includes both human resources and administrative policies. The policies have been updated with the recommendations from the committee as well as with the recommendations discussed in our work sessions with the commission. If it is approved, the manual will be implemented at the beginning of the upcoming year, and employees will have access to it through our intranet that we have set up, and also through a direct link. We want to make sure that everybody is very familiar with these policies, that they can access them when they have questions about different things and different rules. Our committee has worked extremely hard, probably over the course of 10 months, to put this together. The policy that we had before was slightly broken, and it needed to be revised and looked at, so I'm very pleased with the committee and their efforts here to help us start 2025 on a great note. So thank you to all of those individuals who assisted us with that.
I make a motion to approve the policy manual and for it to be implemented January 1st of 2025.
Second?
Motion by Commissioner Landry and a second by Vice Mayor Parsons. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? 5-0, motion passes. Moving on to item number 14, adoption of the 2025 SKC legislative agenda.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. Tonight we have for you the Southwest Kansas Coalition's legislative agenda for 2025. This document was prepared through collaboration with our partners from the City of Hayes, which is an affiliate, as well as members Garden City and Dodge City. So SKC is our regional lobbying coalition, which is represented by Penninger and Smith and Associates. And so every year we come together, we take a look at what our needs are on a state as well as federal level for advocacy efforts. And so we did work together to draft this document that we are recommending for adoption. I did want to share just a couple of the updates from the prior year. In here listed, you'll see healthcare and access to services. This was formerly mental health, but the coalition felt strongly that we needed to advocate for a whole host of health needs, and so that has been updated with added information. There is also a section on historic preservation, which would lead us to advocate for tax credit programs as well as grant programs through the state, and advocates for additional funding for those. This is something that our other partners brought forth as a concern, and we certainly understand that concern and see an opportunity there as funding is very tight for those programs. And so we are bringing that forward for your review and adoption. Throughout the course of the Kansas legislative session, we have weekly calls with Penninger and Smith as well as the coalition, just to go over review of hearings and different bills that are coming up, things that have been passed, things that have been struck down, as well as working together to provide testimony both as individual cities and together as a coalition. Anytime that there's a bill that comes forward that we're interested in seeing either move forward or stopped. And so those are the ways that we're able to work together under this guiding document to advocate for our needs as a city.
So you said there's a weekly call for this?
Yes, so during the Kansas legislative session, I'm part of a weekly call with the other cities. Penninger and Smith provides an update on different things that are going on at the State House. Of course, we also have a personal lobbyist that we contract with as well. So sometimes those priorities don't always align, but in general, this gives us a good working document to follow, so.
Would that be something that we could be a part of on the calls? Just because I see a lot of these topics and they're really important. I would like to give the perspective on our end.
Yeah, and
what we're seeing.
Yeah, and outside of even just those update calls, we do receive emails from both our lobbyists as well as the group lobbyists. So, I mean, there's always documents I can share on a weekly basis as to what's going on.
Yeah, the thing is when we go to Washington DC, we talk about these topics and they're very important, but it would just be nice if we had momentum and kept engaging and talking to them about these issues.
Yeah, we do that.
One of the important things that they kind of mentioned while we were discussing the change to healthcare, I happened to be in Garden City when they had this one, was the lobbyists were happy about how Hayes was able to get some funds for a mental health facility there, which is, they were, praising how Western Kansas got these funds and that Senator Billinger has done a lot of work to bring that there. For Dodge and Garden, that might have actually helped a little bit because a facility in Hayes is great. And I'm not bashing that they're getting a facility, but I try to make sure that the point was that facility is still 3 hours and 15 minutes away from Liberal. Wichita is 3 hours and 30 minutes away from Liberal. So that wasn't a win for us. And that just kind of enforces the reason why we have our own lobbyists as well, not just the coalition's lobbyist. Because we need to really work on getting our needs put out there as well.
And see, I would say with that, yes, we're happy to be a part of the coalition, the Southwest Kansas, but yet here in Liberal, we are nonprofit versus Dodge City and Garden are for-profit healthcare systems. So our healthcare needs here in our area are just a little bit different. So it'd be nice if we could advocate and talk to them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're always keeping track through Watkins Public Strategies as to different things that we need to tie in, not just Liberal, but, what can the county do to help support that message? And of course, when it comes to healthcare, that's something that we can pass on as well. So anytime there's opportunity, anytime there's someone that can go up and perhaps personally testify in person or submit a written testimony, we try to keep up and make sure that they're continuously seeing our name on things that are important to us.
Yeah, it would just be nice to have that direct communication with them. And then something else I noticed is we used to have the mobile immigration services once a month out in Southwest Kansas, and I'm not seeing that anymore. So I don't even know if they're aware that this is no longer happening. So it would just be nice to keep updating them and keep those open lines of communication with them.
Yeah.
The other thing that I noticed while we were in that meeting was when we talked about healthcare, the lobbyists would like some actual legislation that we can give to them to say, what is it we need out here?
Oh, I can tell.
So I'll
I can tell them.
set that challenge for the hospital. If you guys have specific needs,
We
let,
do.
send it to Keely so she can
Mm-hmm.
send it both to Pinnaker and Smith and to Watkins
And to
Public
Watkins.
Strategies.
Yep.
And we'd be more than glad to support the hospital in getting that out there.
I will say that Watkins specifically is very good about getting us connected to and in front of the right people anytime we are in Topeka. And so if there are bills that we're expecting to have come along during the session, that's an opportunity for us to step into maybe that State Department or that legislator's office to speak about those issues. So.
Well, I'll make a motion, we adopt the 2025 SKC legislative agenda.
Second.
I have a motion by Vice Mayor Parsons and a second by Commissioner Warren. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? 5-0, motion passes. Moving on to item number 15, city staff.
I have some things. So as you all saw, we did get our grant award for our Ruby Red Slipper Slide. That grant is a 40% reimbursement for our 10-foot tall slipper slide that we'll be putting in front of the Convention Visitors Bureau along Highway 54. Highly visible from the highway, attracting people back into our visitor center, Dorothy's house, and all of our area attractions. So they were extremely enthusiastic to see our project. I don't think they've seen something that flashy in a while, so they were excited that we put this forward. We're glad for that funding that they provided as well. We've had really good interactions with really everyone from outside the community as well as within the community. And so we think it's important to continue to build in that success and share it as far as we can. We will be bringing a purchase agreement forward in January with some more information on the slide we've been looking at. So I know Scarlett had some more
So,
to add as well.
yes, one thing I just wanted to add, first of all, thank you, Keely and Sally, for their work on that. Everybody will have their opinion on anything that we're doing. My overall opinion is that we probably needed to make a couple of improvements to our tourism, and I think this is a great way to start. I love the idea. I also wanted to add from a financial perspective, the tourism department lives in its own fund financially. So the money that is in that fund must be used for specific tourism-related purchases. So we want to help the community out as much as we can with all of the needs that everybody comes forward and has for us. But as it pertains to tourism, those funds have to be expended in a certain way for that department. It doesn't live anywhere else. And so we wanted to make sure that we communicated that to the public, that those were tourism funds, and plus we had this grant match. So I appreciate that so very much.
Do you have a couple of other just general updates? So next week, we've been working on a website redesign the last several months, and so that will be launching in the middle of the day on December the 19th. So same URL, same city website. Information has changed somewhat, but it's going to have an entirely different look, so please be on the lookout for that. We're also preparing communications for the community when we come to the launch of our pet registration process. We'll have infographics, we'll have news releases, we'll have some video, just helping people through understanding that process and remembering why it's important for the community. And then the overpass grant, we are still waiting. I'm hoping that we'll know by the end of the year. That was when their projected award date was for end of December. So more to come on that. That's all I have.
Anything, Brad?
I just got, the main thing, I'll give you a solar update. So, the wastewater treatment plant and the rec will probably go online in the next 2 weeks. Has absolutely got to be done before the end of the year for our tax credits. So, they're done here. We did have a little issue here. We resolved that issue. So, all they gotta do is hook up here. Every building except City Hall. That building is probably gonna be a little chit chat about that when it comes done. We got a lot of stuff going on. We got pickleball court, we got all kinds of foundations and stuff over there. We got concrete crews working. We need to borrow Ronnie's concrete crews for about 2 weeks to get caught up. Oh, don't forget the employee breakfast, Thursday morning at the Blue Bonnet Building,
What time is that,
At
Brad?
8, right?
8 o'clock. We'll feed 8 to 10. If you wait till like 9:30, you might be scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, that was me last year.
You can thank Bruce's crew, they're doing all the cooking for the 3rd or 4th year in a row. Fourth. You can tell you how many eggs and sausage he's cooked in the last 4 years.
Which building did you say it was?
The Blue Bonnet Building.
The Blue Bonnet, okay.
Oh, buddy.
And I do want to mention all the people that are here getting service awards. And there's 100 more that are either just below or just above those numbers you see today that make this wheel go around every day. For you guys, for us, that make this. We appreciate everything that you do.
Thank you, Brad. Kristen? Alicia? Anybody else? All right, moving on to item number 16, city manager report.
So Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, I have several things as per usual. I want to start by reiterating what Brad said about our employees. I want to thank all of them for showing up tonight and receiving their service awards. I've said it before and I'll say it again, but employees are the most valuable assets of a company. And if you take care of them, they will take care of your company. And this is very, very true for the city. And I appreciate everything that they do. I do not know what it's like to do every single job, but I trust their expertise and their professionalism and their commitment to the city, especially for 10, 15, 20 years. That says a lot about them as individuals. So I wanted to make sure that I thanked them. I wanted to discuss really quick that we're working diligently to tie up these financial ends for 2024 and roll into 2025. So for the finance department, that brings a lot of meetings, a lot of bookkeeping and book work. Today I sat with Kristen and Yanira for 2 to 3 hours and trained them on how budget amendments work. And we were going through spreadsheets and working on cash basis to make sure there were no violations, of which there are none. And we will have a few budget amendments, but very, very pleased, far less than last year. That is a great indication of our staff paying attention to their budget line items, their expenditures. Very pleased with how that turned out, kind of as a prequel to the next meeting. Those 3 departments that had amendments, one is very normal because of their grant funding. You can't always know or predict the type of grant funding that they will have and therefore the expenses that go along with that. So there's typically an amendment involved in that department. The other 2, one was the fact that we did have available cash, but our street ceiling project came in a little bit above what we had budgeted. So I had written on the requisition and I looked back that this would require a budget amendment. So that one, very normal with the increase in prices. And then another one was due to a lease that I negotiated in the middle of the year. And we will explain all of that at the next meeting. But overall, huge improvement year over year from where we were last year as it pertains to budget and budget amendments. I wanted to give accolades to the fire department and the communications department. Everybody saw the fire that we had a week ago near the Air Museum. That was a little scary for a minute, and a lot of people thought the Air Museum was on fire because of the proximity, but they did get the fire put out within an hour, hour and a half. They took care of it professionally, efficiently, and their reporting and communication follow-up with me was very effective and timely, and I appreciate that. We are very fortunate to have such professional fire and communications departments. I did not know how good these departments were until I came to work for the city, and so I wanted to make sure I thanked them for that because that could have been a much larger issue with how close it was to so many things, so I wanted to thank them. With that said, we have several exciting economic development items coming up, so I want to tell everybody to be on the lookout for those. Those will be on the agenda in the coming weeks as soon as we start the new year. I am excited that we will get a lot of these things out there and be able to communicate openly with the public about that. Eli and I and several commissioners have been working nonstop to get these projects to move forward. I almost feel like that's like my full-time job at this point is economic development. But once these things really start to hit the ground and people can see them, I know that our community will be excited about it. And as I've said before, it's going to be the Liberal that I've envisioned for a long time while still keeping our identity intact. So that will be great. A couple of shout outs. I wanted to first say that Alicia Hidalgo will be featured on the Chamber Men and Women of Distinction calendar for 2025. I was honestly shocked when I discovered that she had never been on there with all of the things that she has done for Liberal. Like, we are homegrown girls, and so I thought she needs to be on there. So I recommended her, and I was so glad that the committee selected her. So if you would like to go and support her, that unveiling is Thursday, December 12th at the Depot at 6 p.m. So there will be, everybody's kind of used to this, but there will be a presentation and we'll speak and give her the credit that she deserves. Also with Alicia, I hope the commission has noticed that agendas have been rolling out on Thursdays, and I hope that gives you sufficient time to review those things and familiarize yourself so you can ask questions when you come here, and I hope that you've noticed that, and that's due to us adhering to these deadlines and holding everybody accountable, so thank you to her. Also to Keely, who organized and planned our meeting last week with the Kansas Department of Commerce. It was very productive, from brainstorming some of our issues with Main Street revitalization and also with future plans for different projects that we have in the works. I unfortunately became ill in the middle of that, so I really appreciate her taking the reins and pushing through and taking care of that. I think it was very productive. So with that said, I just wanted to give a little plug. Our Rec Center dance program has their little dance recital on Sunday at the high school at 2 for 70 kids in this community. This will be their first time being on a stage in front of people. For me personally, these types of events as a younger person helped me develop confidence and the ability to talk and perform in front of people. They will also be at the Saints game on Saturday night as well, which I think is great partnership with the City of Liberal and the college to do those types of things. So no cost for admission on Sunday, so come out and support them, and that's all that I have.
All right, thank you. Item number 17, items from commissioners. You'll start? All right.
Well, thank you to everybody. Once again, congratulations to all of our Employee Service Award winners. I think that's a great achievement. Everybody was there. And for those that are upcoming on their awards, and for those that have retired long past and have, achieved those awards also, it's a great milestone for any employee whatsoever. And we really appreciate your hard work, what you do. To city staff, really appreciate everyone. Emergency response to the firefighters out there. I saw that thing the day when it was out there, and boy, that was a blaze and a half. It was pretty scary looking, so, and we appreciate getting taken care of. Other than that, don't have a lot. Stay safe, stay warm. Looks like it's getting a little chilly this week. I know Jeff, not happy about that. Not happy about that. I don't think I'm happy about it either, but definitely feels like the holidays, so, yeah. Appreciate everybody's hard work. Thank you so much.
Yeah, congratulations again to those people that got the service awards tonight. Special thank you to Gil and Brian for 25 years of service. That's almost unheard of anymore. And, the city's always had a kind of a history of people who come to work here. A lot of them stay for a very, very long time. And so, that just says good things, I think, about us as an organization, but more about the people who work for us, that they're willing to, provide services to everybody who lives here. So thank you to those people. Thanks for all those folks who worked hard on the employee manual redesign. We got to spend, how many hours? 4 hours probably going through it, and we just hit on the highlights. So I can't imagine how much work went into that. So it was good to be able to approve that tonight going forward. So thank you to those folks. And finally, thank you to Mr. Flores. We're excited about having you join our community and be a part. So, we're glad to do what we can do to make that work for you, and excited about you joining our community and getting to work. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
That's all I have.
Ron?
Yeah, I'm echo everybody else. I'd like to thank the employees for their service, and especially those that met those milestones this year. And like I said, there is a history of employees that have been here for long periods of time, and it actually makes things run smoother, I believe. But the ones that haven't hit them or aren't hitting them, we appreciate all of them. Scarlett, appreciate all the information you've brought to us. It helps us a lot to know what's going on. And Keely the extra job, her job is kind of all over, I think. But I'd like to thank all the staff, and especially, like I say, the fire department the other night. They are truly professional, and we appreciate that. And Chad, I'm thinking this deal that's really probably not a large price for the size of tool that's going to give you. I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah.
That can make a lot of difference. So I'll be interested hearing from you how that works out, and if that's just big. I think it maybe could be a big tool. Like I say, looking forward to you telling me if it works or not, like you want it to. But appreciate you guys' service, and I'm going to ask, because I hadn't heard anybody say tonight, and I'm getting old, so I forget sometimes. So is our next meeting on Christmas Eve? We're still doing a regular meeting then, so I don't have to tell you guys Merry Christmas yet. I can wait till, I can wait 2 weeks to tell you. So I'm gonna refrain, hold off from that, and I'll wait till then. That's all I have.
Well, just like the rest of you said, I'd like to thank and congratulate all of the employees for their service awards. I think the longevity of these employees kind of speaks the environment and the friendliness of the city of Liberal. Kind of like Jeff said, it's very unheard of when you hear people saying 10 years, 15, especially 25 years. So congratulations to all the employees. I'd also like to thank everybody who's joining us online. We do get quite a bit of viewers online, saw approximately 15 people at every meeting join online, so I'd like to thank them. For the AS software review, I'm really excited for that just because I've been on the other side of editing video, and going through pre-roll is very time consuming. So I feel like this is going to just allow you guys to be more efficient and just be able to get the images and the information that you need from them. So I'm actually looking forward to that as well. The Red Ruby slipper, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I could sit here and talk about it all day, but we are very excited. I do think it's going to put Liberal on the map even more. It's going to make it a destination top. And I want it to be one of the 7 wonders of Kansas. So there's a big magazine in Kansas where it tells you to go to certain places in Kansas. So I'm looking forward to adding us on there. I'm pretty confident we're going to be added now with the Red Ruby slipper. But I do anticipate a very big crowd. I've had a lot of reporters from Wichita calling me already. They want to know when the revealing is going to be. So looking forward to that. And also, we hear about all of the positivity here in our communities, but I am always in contact with reporters from Wichita, so if you guys have any stories that you guys would like to share, please reach out to Cake News or let me know. They really do like to cover news in Southwest Kansas. Unfortunately, sometimes the news that is put out there is negative news, so we also want to share the positive news that happens in our community. So if you guys ever have any stories that you'd like to share, definitely reach out. That's it.
Thank you. As always, thank you to all the employees. I think this is the 4th one of these award meetings that I've been able to attend because I was coming to the meetings after the election. And it's just amazing to see the amount of time that employees have committed, to service for the city. And most of those employees, the last 4 years, are still here, other than the few that have retired. So it's very impressive to see just the amount of people and the dedication that everyone has to our city, and how many homegrown are here as well. Sorry, Keith. We have one, transplant, but it's okay. We love him too. But thank you to all the employees for everything they do. Definitely thank you to the fire department for helping us with always being there. I mean, our condolences go out to Perryton, who they lost a firefighter in these, so we must always remember that regardless of the type of fire, that there's real dangers when you're fighting a fire. So always thank them for everything they do. And as cooking season starts up, we always have that extra risk. Personally, I had family who did have a fire many years ago. You're never as thankful for them until they've done something for your own family. So definitely a lot of thanks to all of our emergency services. Just to touch base, kind of the end of the year, we have so many projects coming down the line. I think Scarlett might have been surprised a little bit, even though she was working finance, just the amount of projects that we have been working on throughout the entire year. Eli is the lead of most of those. No one's being kept out of the loop or anything. Eli is just the one who manages most of these projects for us, and he deserves so much credit, and I don't think he drinks, but he probably deserves a few of those because there are so many projects out there, so many loops and hoops to jump through. Thank you as well to our attorney because of that, because he actually gets to review the last part of it and catch all the mistakes within those projects, whether it's from us or from the other people. So thank you, Lynn, for that part. Just want a small recap. We have close to $3 billion worth of investments potentially coming down the line within the next 5 years, maybe 10. 2.3 of that is Apex, but that leaves roughly $700 million of other industrial, retail, and housing projects that are coming down the line. This year, we have also received many MIH grants, RHIDs that we've done. We actually had our first tax credits given from the state in a long time. Our bus grants, our tourism grants, and we have finally started a conversation about a STAR bond for this side of the state that isn't Garden City or Dodge City. So I think we are on the right track to have just amazing things come down the line and to continue to move forward. It's been a great year. And just as a reminder, repeat that, we will have our meeting at 1 p.m. on the 24th for anyone who wants to come in, check and it'll be a fast one. We shouldn't have too many action-packed items on that one. And then we will start the next year with a bang. So thank you all very much. And item number 18, the vouchers.
I'll make a motion that we approve the vouchers in the amount of $1,471,914.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Warren and a second by Commissioner Vasquez. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? 5-0. Motion passes. We are adjourned.
I don't remember